Good morning, friends. Good morning, Bobby.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good.
Good. All right. So today we're going to start on page 69 with seeing with the eyes of time. I'm actually going to set my timer here because I forgot to put on my watch to buzz me. Okay. Another good time for the slight edge is Lady Justice, the blindfolded statue. The statue itself of the woman holding the scales and the sword to represent the idea of justice has been around since the days of ancient Rome. In those days, it didn't wear a blindfold. That part wasn't added until the 16th century during the Renaissance, in thinking that eventually gave birth to our modern ideas of representative democracy and universal human rights. The blindfold doesn't imply that justice is blind, as people sometimes assume. Its point is that true justice is impervious to external influence. That's exactly how you have to hold the slight edge philosophy. If you want to understand and apply the slight edge to create the life of your dreams, you can't make your everyday choices based on the evidence of your eyes. You need to make them based on what you know. You have to see through the eyes of time. Picture success and failure as the two sides of a pair of balanced scales, like the ones held by Lady Justice. Let's say you're in a tough place in your life. The scales are tipped badly and the negative side tilted way down. Whether it's your health or your finances or your marriage or your career, whatever it is, you've reached a place where many years of simple errors in judgment have compounded over time, and you're feeling it. You're behind the 8 ball. It sure would be nice if somehow you could do something dramatic. If you just wake up tomorrow and have it all turned around, snap your fingers and change it. That might happen in a movie, but this is your life. What can you do? What happens if you add one small, simple, positive action to the success side? Nothing you can see. What happens if you add one more? Nothing you can see. What happens if you keep adding one more and one more and one more and one more? Before too long, you'll see the scales shift ever so slightly. And then again, and eventually that heavy failure side starts to lift and lift and lift, and the scales start swinging your way. No matter how much negative weight from the past is on the other side, just by adding those little grams of success one at a time, and by not adding more weight to the failure side, you will eventually and inevitably begin to shift the scales in your favor. Way back in the beginning, when you add the first tiny, insignificant bits of positive action, you won't see the scales move at all, and that will frustrate you. If you judge your choices by the evidence of your eyes, it frustrates 19 out of 20 people so much that they quit. No matter what you have done in your life up until today, no matter where you are and how far down you may have slid on the failure curve, you can start fresh, building a positive pattern of success at any time, including right now. But you need to have faith in the process because you won't see it happening at first. If you base your choices on the evidence, on what you can see, you're sunk. You need to base your choices on your philosophy, on what you know, not what you see. The power of compounding effort. There's a passage in Jim Collins' classic business book, Good to Great, that beautifully describes the way that the slight edge is so often that beautifully describes the way that the slight edge is so often invisible and can seem so insignificant. That is, until they build to the point of escape velocity. Picture a huge heavy flywheel, a massive metal disc mounted horizontally on an axle about 30 feet in diameter, 2 feet thick, and weighing about 5,000 pounds. Now imagine that your task is to get the flywheel rotating on the axle as fast and for as long as possible. Pushing with great effort, you get the flywheel to inch forward, moving almost imperceptibly at first. You keep pushing, and after 2 or 3 hours of persistent effort, you get the flywheel to complete one entire turn. You keep pushing, and the flywheel begins to move a bit faster. And with continued great effort, you move it through a second rotation. You keep pushing in a consistent direction. 3 turns, 4, 5, 6. The flywheel begins to build up speed. 7, 8. You keep pushing. 9, 10. It builds momentum. 11, 12. Moving faster with each turn. 20, 30, 50, 100. At some point, a breakthrough. The momentum of the thing kicks in your favor, hurling the flywheel forward, turn after turn, whoosh, its own heavy weight working for you. You're pushing no harder than the first rotation, but the flywheel goes faster and faster. Each of the flywheel builds upon work done earlier, compounding your investment of effort. 1,000 times faster, then 10,000, then 100,000. The huge heavy disc flies forward with almost unstoppable momentum. Now suppose someone came along and asked, what was the one big push that caused this thing to go so fast? You wouldn't be able to answer. It's a nonsensical question. Was it the first push, the second, the fifth, the 100th? No, it was all of them added together in an overall accumulation of effort applied in a consistent direction. Some pushes may have been bigger than the others, but any single heave, no matter how large, reflects a small fraction of the entire cumulative effect upon the flywheel. From Good to Great, Why Some Companies Make the Leap and Others Don't, by Jim Collins, Harper Business. That section about the flywheel was from that book. Successful people do whatever it takes to get the job done, whether or not they feel like it. They understand that it is not any one single push on the flywheel, but the cumulative total of all their sequential, unfailing, consistent pushes that eventually creates movement of such astonishing momentum in their lives. Successful people form habits that feed their success instead of habits that feed their failure. They choose to have the slight edge working for them, not against them. They build their own dreams rather than spend their lives building other people's dreams. And they achieve these dramatic results in their lives through making choices of the very antithesis of drama, mundane, simple, seemingly insignificant choices. Each decision you make is a slight edge decision. What you're going to do, how you're going to act, what you're going to read, who you're going to chat with on the phone, what you're going to eat for lunch, who you are going to associate with, how you're going to treat your fellow workers, what you're doing to get done today. Simply by making those right decisions or making more of them one at a time over and over again, you will have enlisted awesome power of the slight edge on your behalf. The unwanted circumstances, the poor results you've produced in the past, the evidence of failures in your life may all continue for a time. There may be no light at the end of the tunnel, or at least none that you can see today. But by putting time on your side, you've marshaled the forces of the slight edge. Your success becomes inevitable. You just need to stay in the process long enough to give it a chance to win. It starts with a choice. Cultivating patience. Patience is a challenge for people who do not understand the slight edge. Often in the beginning, the success path can be uncomfortable, even scary, especially if you're the only one around who's on it. And with the only one out of 20 people ever achieving their goals, it's quite likely that you will be the only one around on the path, at least for a while. Sometimes the path of success is inconvenient and therefore not just easy not to do, but actually easier not to do. For most people, it's easier to stay in bed. Getting on the path and staying on the path requires faith in the process, especially at the start. That makes you a pioneer. Pioneers don't know what's out there, but out there they go anyway. That's why being a pioneer takes such courage. Courage means to have purpose and to have heart. Once you are aware of and understand how to use the slight edge, you will naturally have both purpose and the strength of heart to stay on that purpose. The important point is to start on the path and to remember that no matter what has gone on before, you can begin fresh and new anytime you choose. You can start with a clean slate. How long will it take? How long before you actually see and feel and smell and touch and be able to spend and enjoy and appreciate the results? How long before you will have the experience of the success you are seeking? Obviously, it's impossible for either of us to say exactly how long, but in my experience, in 3 to 5 years, you can put virtually anything in your life solidly onto the right track. Think of what you were doing 3 years ago. Seems like yesterday, doesn't it? Well, 3 years from now, the things you're doing right now will seem like only yesterday too. Yet this brief little period of time can change your life. How long will it take? Chances are it will take longer than you want it to. And when that time arrives, you'll be astonished at how quick it seemed. Patience is not an issue for the water hyacinth. It simply goes about its business, calmly, quietly doubling until it covers the pond. You can do the same. There's a little poem here. Serene, I fold my hands and wait, nor care for wind, nor tide, nor sea. I rave no more 'gainst time or fate, for lo, my own shall come to me. John Burroughs, wait. The slight edge guarantees that your own shall come to you, like the water hyacinth covering the pond. The way your own shows up, good or bad, failure or success, win or lose, is moment by moment up to you. You need not care for wind, nor tide, nor sea, but you do need to care for those simple little actions which, compounded over time, will make the difference between your success or failure. The problem is that most of us live with one foot planted firmly in the past and the other tucked timidly in the future, never in the moment. In relation to everything, our kids, our health, our home, our career, we tick through the hours in constant regret and Monday morning quarterbacking about what's behind us and with worry, anxiety, and dread about what lies ahead. The slight edge is all about living in the moment. For me, this is perhaps the hardest lesson to learn about the slight edge. You can't find it in the past or the future, only right here, right now. The reason Eckhart Tolle's modest little 1997 book on enlightenment, called The Power of Now, took the marketplace by storm, selling over 5 million copies in 33 languages, is that his core message is one that everyone knows they need to hear. Your life exists only in the moment. You cannot really absorb or live that truth through reading a book. You absorb and live that truth simply by being fully in the process of living your life, not regretting the past, not dreading the future. The slight edge is about your awareness. It is about you making the right choices, the choices that serve you and empower you, starting right now and continuing for the rest of your life, and learning to make them effortlessly. What feeds your patience and keeps you on the path is a philosophy. And remember, your philosophy is simply your view of how things are. That includes an understanding of the secret of time. Knowing the secret of time, you say, if I stay on this road long enough, I'll get the result I'm seeking. It's not a question of your mood or your feelings, and it's not a question of willpower. It's a question of simply knowing. When you entered a darkened room, why does your hand reach out for the light switch? Because you know that when you hit the switch, the light will go on. You don't have to give yourself positive self-talk about how you really ought to hit that light switch or set up a system of rewards and punishment for yourself around whether you follow through or not with hitting the light switch. You don't need any rigmarole. You just hit the switch. Why? Because you know what will happen. You know. It's the exact same thing here. You walk a little every day, lift a few weights, eat a little better, and leave the penny in the purse. Hit the light switch because you know it will make you healthy and wealthy. The light will turn on. It's the exact same thing, no different, except for one thing, and that is time. All right, we're going to end there. We'll pick up, let's see, today is Thursday, so we'll pick up Monday on page 75. Thank you. Have a good day.